we really do want to make the world better. That's what really drives us, is
Yeah.
that we want to do something that makes it better for people. Well, money is the measure of the pleasure you put into the lives of others. So if that's the
Yeah.
measure, then you know you need to elevate it so that you can expand your thought, expand your energy, and expand your results.
All right, well, welcome back to another episode of the Charyse Williams Show, where we speak truth and really empower women building businesses with heart and integrity. Today's episode is one that's going to challenge your patterns and reignite your power. And I am so excited because I am joined by the incredible Gloria Mayfield Banks, who is a speaker, a success strategist, a powerhouse leader who brings equal parts of strategy, energy, and charisma to everything she touches, you guys. Gloria is a Howard University alumni and holds an MBA from Harvard. She's been featured on CNN, CNBC, Fortune, Ebony, and she's shared stages with the likes of Oprah Winfrey. Gloria is truly a force to be reckoned with. She's built multi-million-dollar businesses. She's led high-performing teams. She's coached thousands, probably hundreds of thousands of powerhouse women, and deeply understands what it truly takes to build sustainable results in business. So we're diving into what it really means to build with strategy, with consistency, and with the willingness to experiment, especially in today's world that's constantly trying to sell shortcuts. So if you have been spinning your wheels, if you have been avoiding the uncomfortable work or wondering why your business isn't growing at the pace that you truly desire, then this episode is for you. So let's get into it. Hey there, Gloria.
I'm so excited to be here. I love your energy. I love your show. And I love the topics that you cover. So I'm very excited to be here with you today and honored to be asked.
Oh my gosh, it's a pleasure. And I was thinking, I'm like, okay, wait, how long have I known Gloria? I've known Gloria since 2006, which sounds like forever ago. And I really had the honor of just being in your learning from you, in fact, from larger stages and even in intimate settings over the last, I don't know, was that 20 years, 26, 20, 30 years? I don't know how many, I can't count. I don't know how many years that is. A long time. And then really over the last, I would say, couple of years, have we kind of had a closer proximity because we share a dear friend, Joanne. And so anyway, it's a pleasure for sure. So when you think about the title of this episode, so stop avoiding the work, strategy, structure, and the truth about results. Like, what comes to mind first? What are some of the things that just come to mind?
I was thinking earlier, I was talking with my coach, who's a trainer and a physical trainer, and we were just talking about this, and I was talking to one of my clients I was coaching, and the bottom line was I had to say to her, okay, stop, because so many times we're looking towards something that we think is the right way, but it's the wrong way. And no one really has the guts to say, that's not going the right way, or you're looking for the easy way, or, it's never easy like that. Every time they look for the easy way, it takes longer. It's harder. Right. So that's what keeps coming to my mind. What really gets me, Charyse, is that so many people can be so much further along with the right decision.
It is true. And so let's unpack that just a little bit. So why do you think that people are looking for the easy way? Because the reality of it is, and we know this, I think subconsciously we know this, if it were easy, everyone would do it. Everyone would be there, wherever the there is that they're, searching for or reaching to attain. So why do you think so many people are looking for the easy way?
I think that they think other people know something that they don't know. And I remember being in that place. I remember seeing a superstar work in her business, and I was like, what is she doing? What is she doing? I kept saying, what is she doing? And then I went down and I watched her work. I went to see for myself. And by the time I got back to my office, I'm like,
she ain't doing nothing.
She's doing the same dang on thing that I'm doing. She's just been doing it longer, and she's deeper, she's spread wider. And she had so I think that we're always looking for the other way because we think success is supposed to come to us so much faster. So we must be doing something wrong, and what they're doing is something right. I think that's part of it. And I think you said it. When you opened up, you said, we are always looking for the easier way to do it. When I really think we're looking for the right way to do it, and we think that maybe it's going to be an easy, and I keep telling people it's not in the ease of it, it's in the doing of it.
It is. And you know what, Gloria, you said something a second ago. You said you were working out with your personal trainer. And so for anyone who has ever worked out with a personal trainer, you know, one, it ain't easy. In fact, it's hard. Right. You know, it's hard to get results. And because if you're just in the gym every day and you're lifting 5-pound dumbbells, number one, you're not going to see any results. Number two, you're going to be bored out of your freaking mind, which means you're going to quit. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. And you're going to say it doesn't work. You're going to say
it doesn't work. Yeah. But the reality of it is, and it's true for anything in fitness and health and business, it's the consistency and it's doing the right work. And it's doing the right work for you. Right. And what works for you, Gloria, may not necessarily work for me. There's tons of strategies out there. But again, if it's not aligned with really who you are and how you like to work, again, you're not going to do it, which means you're not going to get the results.
You have to trust. You have to trust what you actually see. You know, while I was talking on some Facebook Live I was doing, I said, you know, you see it, but you ignore it because you can't believe after I've done this for 3 or 4 months, these are the results that I've gotten. Yes, those are the results that you've gotten. So that means that what you've been doing isn't taking you where you want to go. And sometimes we have to just admit to ourselves that what we've been doing hasn't been working. And I tell people, stop taking advice from people that are just next to you or easy to talk to, but take advice from people who have already gotten what you want. Yes. Would you really exchange places with them? And if the answer is yes, then those are the people you're supposed to be talking to.
Right. No, that's so good too, because I see it all the time. Yeah. People taking advice from other people, and it's like they haven't even created a portion of what it is that you're wanting to create. So what on earth? But, you know, I think it's because it's comfortable and it doesn't require them to stretch. Because if they really, really tapped into someone who's been there, done that, is continuing to do that, continue to build bigger and bigger and bigger, and they really knew the truth of it, then they would have to step up. And I think maybe subconsciously they don't want to step up.
Charyse, let's talk about just the power of that community that you're talking to, and the power of the women that you hang around, because I have called you for advice. Yeah. And when I called you for advice and you told me what you were doing, first I want to say this. You're taken back because you think you just like totally missed it. Like, I was like, for real, that's what you do. But the second thing that's so important is that you have to be willing to ask people, and you have to be willing to tune into people who are willing to tell you the truth. And not everyone's going to tell you, not everyone's going to tell you the truth. So if you go to someone and you ask the question and you don't get the answer, don't stop asking. Continue to look for the people who are willing to tell you the truth. And I'm just going to tell all our sisters, we got to start telling people what's really going on, because if you don't tell them, they're floundering out here. And it's so much easier there's so much winning available for everybody. You can share whatever strategy you want with someone, and they are going to glean from it. But don't hold back, afraid that they're going to beat you out, because there's more than enough. And they'll definitely beat you out if you're holding back, because therefore you don't believe in abundance, and therefore you're not going to get any abundance.
Now that's a whole word. We could like just end the podcast right here on that. But it's so true. Yeah. And you know, it really stems from a place of integrity, and it stems from a place of, again, abundance. Yes. And there's plenty of, because I always say this is something I say all the time, and I will continue to say it. Yeah. No one can do what you can do the way you can do it. Right. Point blank in the story. Even if we were executing or implementing the same strategy, you're Gloria, I'm Charyse. We have our own, flavor. We have our own way of execution. And rhythm, and that's our secret sauce. And that's what makes it work. Right.
But because what you're talking about is being confident in your own journey, being confident in your own skin, being confident enough to make a mistake. You know, when I was talking about taking experiments and doing things you've never done before, I want to say this. I want to ask everybody to get out of their habit, the habit of saying, I've never done it before, the habit of saying, I'm afraid. You know how many women say, I'm afraid, when they're really not afraid? They're not afraid. It's just a habit that we say, oh, girl, I'm so scared. I look at them like, no. When I look at this resume that you put in front of me and how powerful you are, you're not afraid. You're just in the habit of saying that because it's coy and because it's beautiful, but it's not beautiful.
It's not beautiful. No. And you're so right. And this is one thing I always say, and I'll just tell you this. I didn't mention this ahead of time. I didn't warn you ahead of time, but I cuss on my podcast. And so one thing I always say is, if you are already the shit in what you do, whatever you do or whatever you we've done, you can't help but be the shit on this end too, because
Right.
it's part of you. It's who you are. And the commonality, the common denominator is you. Now,
Right.
again, this might be something different. You might be doing what you're doing in a different arena,
Yeah.
but you're bringing you into it. And again, if you are everything over there, you're going to be everything over here, but you have to be willing to embrace that uncomfortableness, because it's uncomfortable when you're pivoting and switching,
Right.
you know,
Right.
but you'll find your rhythm. You will
Yeah.
find your rhythm, right? It's
And
inevitable if you don't stop.
you can frame it so that it's exciting.
Yeah.
And I think that some people don't stop to frame it. They get stuck in those emotions. And, every emotion can be reframed differently. And how you describe it, and you say it out loud, enough times, your subconscious mind takes it on, because it understands that what you're looking for is the passionate place. And if you find that passionate place, you can push through things that are uncomfortable.
It's so true. It's so true. Gloria, I always talk I talk a whole lot about identity, right? And understanding the requirement of evolving and stepping into a new identity so that you can create what it is that you're wanting to create, right? So the majority of people that are listening to this podcast right now, they come from a traditional healthcare background. They're nurses, nurse practitioners, physicians, right? And now they're stepping into, they're pivoting, and they're launching their own businesses in the functional medicine space or health coaching space, whatever the case may be. And so again, going back to identity and strategy congruence, how have you been able to navigate stepping into a new arena?
I would say, given that question, probably the most powerful skill I understood was important was to find that passionate goal. There's one thing that's a goal, but you got to find the passionate right now goal, the most immediate thing. Because when you find the goal and you're passionate about it, it erases distractions. It cuts out the noise. And I think that a lot of people don't know how to go forward or through it because they get caught up in the noise. And you start looking over here and you start looking over here and you start looking. And next thing you know, it's the 30th of the month. And next thing you know, it's June. And next thing you know, it's the end of the year because you got so caught up. But if you can understand the power of a deadline and the power of a passionate goal, and it doesn't you don't sit there and think about it. You create a passionate goal. You understand why it's passion. You understand the results of what you're doing. And then when you get there, you're able to push through things. And my whole thing has always been, I'm going to find the next passionate goal, the next passionate goal, the next passionate goal. And I check myself. I tell people, if it doesn't wake you up in the morning, and if you can't, if it's easy for you to go to bed at night, it's probably not passion. It's maybe what you're supposed to do.
Right. Or what you think you're supposed to do. Yeah. Yeah, right. That's so good. And you made a really great point, that because I think a lot of times we think, okay, passion, that's just one thing. No, not necessarily. You said, Gloria, that what's your passion now? And then when you get further along, now what's your passion? And then keep checking in with yourself to identify what that passion is so that it keeps you fueled and keeps you going, and it limits distractions. And it's so true.
It's so true. I remember the story of a woman she had all the skill set. She loved her business. She knew where she was going, but there wasn't growth. She just was stuck right there. And I said to her, I talked to her for a minute, and come to find out her sister was very close to her. Her sister had 4 children. They never had a chance to go on a vacation. I said, why don't you build your business immediately in the next 3 to 4 months? Enough extra cash to send them on a vacation. And she said, and her eyes got big, so I know I hit a point. And I said, call her and tell her. So she went out like right in that moment, called her sister. Her sister started crying. Her sister's husband started crying. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's her passion goal. That conversation grew what she was saying to people. People started being a part of her business because she could share a story with them. Her passion was very high. Therefore, when your passion is very high, you're not afraid of saying what you need to say, to do what you need to do. You're not afraid to ask. You're not afraid of the no's. The no's don't deter you because the yes is so powerful. Boom, 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 boom. And then right before she sends her sister on a vacation, you got to pick the next goal before the last goal is met.
That's it too, before the last goal is met. But here's something that's so powerful of what you just said, is that it has to be bigger than us and communicate it to the other person, because we'll let ourselves off the hook. We will. I mean, just by human nature, we lie to ourselves every single day. I'm gonna wake up at this time, and you hit the snooze button. You just
Right.
lied. First thing in the morning, first thing before you open your eyes, you done lied to yourself, right? I'm gonna eat right today. I'm gonna, hydrate today. I'm gonna work out today. And then life is, life starts life, and then we let ourselves off the hook. But when you have a goal or a passion that's tied to someone else and you articulate it to them, oh, you're on the hook now. And you show up differently, like you mentioned. Your confidence is different. How you speak, how you move, how you think, it shifts.
Changes.
It does, because you're not going to let that person down.
Right, exactly.
Right?
It changes that fast. It changes so quickly. Yeah. It's amazing what happens. And one of the things I teach is I tell people, it is okay to be passionate for someone else's results before you become passionate about your own results. I think so many times we look at for ourselves. And like you said, we can give up on ourselves way faster than we'll give up someone else. Find someone else's goals. Find their passion. What are they passionate? And what can you do to help them achieve their passion? Then you're going to end up becoming passionate about what they're doing. Then you're going to become passionate about what you're doing. It's a magical journey that you play. And I always tell people, especially the leaders that I'm talking to, is you have to help people on their journey of self-discovery. Stop thinking you're giving them a gift by doing it for them, and give them the gift of learning how to do it for themselves so they can teach someone else how to do the same thing.
Yeah. And again, we could just drop the mic right there, but we won't. We will keep going. But you're so right. Yeah. And so let's talk about, because we started this episode somewhat talking about strategy, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about IPAs, or income producing activities, or revenue generating activities. Like, why do you think so many women leaders, in fact, skip this part, or maybe make the mistake of busyness, make the mistake of thinking busyness is the same as momentum? And then let's talk about how do we build that momentum.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is deep in my soul.
You are the queen of strategy and execution.
All the time about their income. And you would be shocked how many entrepreneurs are not aware of the income they're making. They get caught up in I made enough this month, I made enough. But really, what is the target? Why do you not have a target? I tell people, when you work at Dunkin' Donuts knows exactly how many donuts left. They know what time the donuts left. They know what kind of people buy donuts at 9 o'clock in the morning, and a different kind of donut is served at 5 o'clock in the afternoon because of what the customer wants. But why don't you know that about your business? Why don't you treat it that way? So number one, they don't even set the target. So I have to encourage a lot of people to find a target and set a target, because without that, why are you strategizing on growth when you don't really have a clear understanding about what you're trying to create? Right. But I honestly believe that it's not something that's talked about enough. We have to elevate our conversation, because I tell people too many times money is associated with things that are materialistic, but this is not a materialistic thing. This is about security. This is about where you eat. This is about your medical choices. This is about the choices of the parents you're soon going to be taking care of. This is about the choices of the schools that your kids are going to be going to. This is a lot about the choices that you have to elevate your income. When you elevate your income, you elevate your impact.
Absolutely. Say it again.
Impact if you don't elevate your influence.
Yeah.
So when you know those things are ahead of you, because we really do want to make the world better. That's what really drives us, is that we want to do something that makes it better for people. Well, money is the measure of the pleasure you put into the lives of others. So if that's the measure, then you know you need to elevate it so that you can expand your thought, expand your energy, and expand your results.
Money is the measure of the pleasure. I love that. And it's so good. Y'all, write that down. If you didn't write that down already, write that down. Put it on a sticky note. Put it on your mirror. Put it on wherever you need to put it down. Seriously. Yeah. And then, Gloria, I don't know if you remember exactly how you said it, but you said it was around impact and influence. Do you remember what you just said? Yeah. Can you repeat that?
Yeah, exactly. Your income is a measure of your impact. And your impact is only changed by your measure of your influence.
Yeah.
So you have to figure out, really, it's so interesting, Charyse. It's so interesting. Influence starts with image. Very few people can really pay attention to you if you come at them the wrong way. You cannot lift someone up if you're in an angry mood. They don't want to be in that space. But if you come at them with an image of joy, if you come at them with an image of energy, if you come at them with an energy that I can serve you, not sell to you, but I can serve you, it is such a major difference that you can do that. And then that it just flows. It's influence to impact to income.
Yeah. And your image speaks before you even open your mouth.
Right.
I mean,
right.
We all can feel energy. We all can, read body language, all of it. And so I just want to really make this distinction. It's not just in like your outward appearance. That's important too, because if you're approaching me and you look crazy, I'm like, I already can't even hear you. I can't hear you already. Right? But again, what Gloria was saying about your joy, your going back to passion, you can feel passion when it enters the room.
Feel it. Yeah.
You can feel passion when it enters the room. You can feel integrity when it enters the room. You can feel honesty when it enters the room. You can feel service when it enters the room.
Right.
Someone who has a heart to serve, right? And go ahead.
Well, so many people talk about when you're an entrepreneur, they're talking about how do I say the right thing and how do I always say, don't worry about how to say it. Worry about who you're being, because if you worry about who you're being, the words will come to you because your heart and your love and your desire to serve certain people in a certain way comes through. So when you walk in front of someone and say, you know what, I'm completely exhausted, yet I'm also extremely excited about where I'm going, they're going to lean in and listen to you, as opposed to feeling like you have to deliver to them what you think you have to deliver them, which is opposite of who you really are. And that can be a challenge. So serve your best self in everything you do, and you'd be surprised what comes back to you.
It's so true. It starts with the being, who you be.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, I know you're a big believer in experimentation. And so how do you balance, or how do you even recommend that, the listeners balance being consistent and being willing to pivot and test new things?
My first thing is people have to track, because they're not tracking, they don't see the results. And if they're not accountable to someone or someone's, it's easy to slip off the radar because no one is putting you in a space where you're going to be seen. But you don't wait for someone to call it upon you. You go to people who you feel you can be accountable to and who you don't want to let them down. When you find someone to be accountable to, and then you track your efforts, that's when you have the evidence in front of you that you need to tweak, that you need to shift, that you need to move. If you find out you've been out there for 2 weeks and you're paying yourself sub what you know your value is worth, then you can then shift, and you can see some of the things that you haven't been willing to admit to yourself because it's not on a piece of paper. I can't even tell you how many people don't track. They just work. And they run, and there's effort, but they're not looking at the results.
Yeah. And because they're efforting so much, and again, they're not tracking, then they get exhausted. This is what leads to burnout. They get exhausted. And then it also leads to, I think, disillusionment, because they're thinking, I'm doing all this activity. I'm doing. Right. But they're not tracking. And it's not even just about the doing. It's who you are being when you're doing the things that you're doing. That makes a huge difference.
A huge difference. And I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs, and I tell them all the time, let me just share something with you. You're in sales. I don't care what your entrepreneurial business, if you're not selling yourself, no one's going to sell you better than you. So stop thinking that you're doing something just because you got a rejection. One rejection can feel like 10 rejections if you didn't track it. But when you really look back, you're like, oh, I only asked 3 people and I didn't get anywhere. Well, there you go. There's the numbers. And then you need to know how many people do you need to do that activity for in order to get the results. And that number will get better and better and better. What really people need to understand when it comes to strategy, honestly, Charyse, is everything you've ever done gets better when you do it over and over and over again, which is the consistency that you talk about and the strategy that you talk about. But we never get really good at something until we do it over and over and over again. So when you see people who are just fabulous at what they do, it's because they've done it a zillion times.
Yeah, it's mastery. I can't underscore enough the importance of what you said as it relates to tracking it. Yeah. If you don't know, if you don't, the data doesn't lie. I always say, when I'm working with people, I'm like, okay, let's get some data, because right now you're making decisions based on emotion, and emotion will steer you. That'll mess you up every single time. Let's get some data, and your numbers aren't going to look like my numbers, but guess what? It doesn't have to. It's not supposed to. And I don't care if your numbers are abysmal initially. Like you said, Gloria, you do it consistently, it can't help but to get better. Period.
And you said something that I absolutely love. Emotions are expensive.
They are.
They're so expensive. And the thing is that if you're not consciously paying attention to what you're thinking, I tell people, pay attention so you can pay yourself, because you are going to become emotional. You're going to deal with whatever we're out there dealing with in life. You're going to be on the highway going down 95, 100 miles an hour. You miss the exits because you're so emotional. You forgot that you're in charge because your emotions have taken over. So all you have to do is pay attention to what you're paying attention. Like, oh, okay, I'm being emotional. Oh, I'm not going to make any decision right now. I'm going to change it. And when you start taking, what's the word I'm looking for? What's the word? When you're paying attention.
Okay, all right, yeah.
Taking account of what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Like, just don't think. Like, pay attention to what you're thinking, and you can change what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And going back to that data, the tracking piece, I think numbers are so sobering. They're so sobering. And it helps to take the emotion out of it. That's why it's so important to track. And then you can shift, or you can pivot, like we were talking about a second ago. You can pivot your strategy based on data, not based on emotion. Exactly. I love that you said emotions are expensive, because they are. And
I tell people, as much as we might agree or disagree, there are people that are close to you that watch you. If you're not sure, ask them, am I doing this correctly? Do I have the right kind of energy? Am I being lazy when it comes to this? Let them give you their thoughts. That doesn't mean they're right, doesn't mean they're wrong, but sometimes other people's opinions of those who have nothing to gain or lose by how you operate will tell you the truth about what they see. Doesn't mean it's your truth, but what they see. Sometimes we need other people's opinions to see ththings that we have refused to see about ourselves.
Oh, that's good. It's so true. It's perspective. It's perspective. They have a different perspective. And again, it doesn't necessarily mean you don't have to take it on as your truth, but it is, I think, very valuable to get perspective. Yeah. So as we wrap here, so you've led teams, you've built teams, you've led huge teams, you've mentored, again, thousands of women. You've keynoted on large stages. What's the through line you see in people or women who actually get results?
Number one, they understand that they have a large capacity. I think that women who are very successful at doing what they do, they know they can handle a lot, as opposed to the other conversation that some people say, I don't know how to handle a lot, but they say I can handle a lot. But number two, their ability to handle a lot, Charyse, is that they know how to garnish the right support. I don't think that women who are very successful have this huge thing on their chest that says, as superwoman. They know how to delegate, and they know how to give away what they can give away, as much as they can possibly give away, so they can stay in the lane that's important to them. I think their passion is important. Being willing to go towards where you're passionate about, and being willing to give up what you're not passionate about, but also learning new things. I can't even tell you how thriving it is and how youthful people stay when they do new things versus, getting caught up and doing the same thing over and over and over again, never doing things new. I have never done that before. I know everything you've ever done in your life, you've never done it before.
Right.
So stop telling me what you ain't done before, because you always ain't done it before.
Until you do it, right?
Key takeaways from people who I know are very successful.
Yeah, no, that's good. Oh my gosh. Yep. Okay. So what would you say is one strategic shift that a woman can make this week? Actually, today. It's Friday, but hey, it's all good. So it may not be Friday when you're listening to this. So what is one strategic shift that they can make today that would help propel them forward? Like, for real. Okay.
This is so crazy, but they pick one thing they know they're supposed to do and hadn't been willing to do it.
That's it.
Then they find a child around 8, 9, maybe 12, that really knows how to nag them. It doesn't have to be their child. It can be somebody at church. It can be a neighbor across the street. It can be a niece that's on the other side of the United States or whatever. I don't care, but they know how to get to them. Number 3, tell them that you're going to give them the gift that they really want. Maybe $20, maybe $30, maybe $100, depending on the kid, but make sure that that child is passionate about what they want. They're going to call you like every day. Did you do it? And then you have to do that one thing for 21 days straight.
Oh, that's good.
You do that, and if you don't do it for 21 days and you miss a day, you have to start that 21 days all over again. And that child, I'm telling you, it's called the Child Motivational Program. I've had people do it over and over again, and it rocks their world because it forces them to be consistent for 21 days. They track and they see the result. And they, even though, like you said, they'll lie to themselves, they'll give up on themselves, but they're not going to give up on that kid.
I love that, Gloria. Child motivational program. I love it. And because no one's going to let down that kid.
No,
I don't care what you got going on in life. You're going to make sure that you get it done for those 21 days. And the great thing about that is now you've built a new habit. Right. And now you've also not just have you built a new habit because of the consistency, but now you've been thinking different thoughts. Right. Exactly. You can't help it because the thoughts that keep you in that procrastination mode or that playing small mode, it's only because of the thoughts that are on repeat. But when you're locked in for 21 days because you're on this child motivation program, your thoughts are different again, which is it's gonna shift everything. How you show up is gonna shift your energy, which means it's gonna shift your results, not just from the sheer consistency and the momentum that gets built from that, but because you're different.
And you're going to execute differently because you got to get it done. You don't have a lot of time. You got 24 hours. You can't wait till 10 o'clock at night and say, blah, blah, blah. You're like, I got to go. Because this kid's going to call me and I got to say, yep, you can mark off day number 7. Yep, you can mark off day number 8. Yeah. Once you start seeing that momentum, you see the results, you'll be surprised how it garnishes something within you that you can't even stop doing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And you get locked in. I love that, Gloria. That is so good. So we have covered so much today. How about we jump into a little bit of hot topics? You good with that?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, cool. All right. Okay. So I would say hot topics. It's really rapid fire hot topics. But if you were stuck on a deserted island and you could only bring one thing, not one person, but one thing with you, what would that one thing have to be?
My phone. My phone.
And you're on a deserted island, though. You may not have.
Really important. What? What'd you say?
I said, but you're on a deserted island. You may not have electricity. I don't know.
I'm not going nowhere when I don't have electricity. I'm not going nowhere when my phone doesn't work. Okay, I don't know about the electricity.
It's like your lifeline.
If someone said we got to land on that island, I'm gonna say, does it have Wi-Fi? Because if they say no, I'm not doing it. I don't need oxygen. Just go and kill me off, like for real, like. I don't care. It's so crazy. You know, when people say, you know, you're so addicted to the phone. Hey, it's your map. It's
everything.
You know, so, and I tell people my phone is important and my bra is important, but I really do that.
Right. Forget the bra. The phone is the lifeline. My husband calls it my best friend. I'm like, that's not true. But then in my mind, I'm like, he might be right about that. He just might be right. Because I don't care if we have left the house and we're down the street. I'm like, oh my God, we got to turn back around.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I can't go anywhere with my phone.
Let's all be clear.
Oh my God, so funny. Okay. All right. What's one of your guilty pleasures?
What's one of my guilty? You know, this is so interesting because I've given it up since January 1. This is the first time I've even said it out loud, y'all. I gave up candy. I love candy. I really love candy, but I haven't had any since January 1. And whatever day this is, I'm still staying on it. It's just like, it doesn't serve me well. I know it doesn't serve me well. It takes me forever to give it up. My mother loved it. I love it. It's not chocolate. I never liked chocolate, but yeah, guilty pleasure would be candy.
Okay, like what? So it's not chocolate. So what? Like Skittle, like
lemon drops, Twizzlers, any other candy other than chocolate.
Okay, got it. Well, you're on it. You listen. You're already 20 at the time of this recording. You're 23 days in. You got this.
I got it.
Yeah,
I got it.
Yeah. So what's the goal? Like indefinitely, or do you have a goal?
Well, between me and your listeners, you know, in 238 days, I think I turned 70. And so for me, I want to make sure that I'm being my best self on that date. I don't know if it's forever, but I know it's for right now.
That's awesome. I love that. And y'all, for those of you who are listening, hop over to YouTube to look at Gloria Mayfield Banks. And the first question you're going to say is, 70 where? Like, what? There's no way. There's no way. There's no way. But you look phenomenal. And you're right. I mean, we all know sugar is bad for us. We all know it's highly inflammatory.
Right.
It's horrible. It just wreaks havoc on our body. So kudos to you for giving up.
Thank you.
I love that. Okay. Couple more questions here.
Okay.
If you who would you trade places with for a day? Dead or alive? Dead or alive?
Michelle Obama.
I love
Michelle Obama. I would change places with Michelle Obama. I think her viewpoint it's big. I think I love the fact that she's a strong Black woman and not afraid of it, but she can relate to all women and she inspires all women. I love that about her. I love what she's seen on the world stage. I love that she's with a strong man, but she's a strong woman. There's so much about the role model that she is. And I love that her priority was with her children and her mother. You know, just so much about her that I identify with. So if I could be her for a day and I'd take all those clothes.
Oh, I know. Aren't they fabulous?
Her arms and I would
her arms, her clothes. Oh my gosh. I would have a field day in her closet.
Yeah.
But I'm with you. I'm with you. Just she's so inspiring.
Yeah.
Yep. What's the biggest risk you've ever taken?
The biggest risk I probably have taken was skydiving. When I went skydiving, that was probably the biggest risk. I mean, there's a couple of risks, you know. Skydiving was a risk. Getting pregnant again after losing 3 babies was a risk. Getting married a second time this year. We're going to celebrate 30 years of marriage on my second marriage, and that was a big deal. Yeah. You know, so there's, you know, I tell people, honestly, if you see a very confident person, behind a very confident person is a whole lot of courage. It takes a lot of courage to build confidence. And so, but skydiving, when I jumped off that plane, even though I was in tandem, I don't care, I ain't got to pull the string, but I was on there. I said to myself, oh, this is what it means when God's in control. This is what it means. Because when I tell you, when I landed, I was so hungry. It was like, I was so grateful to get some. It was just, my husband said, "Can I have a piece?" I'm like, no. I'm not sharing anything. It was probably that.
That's hilarious. I felt the same. When you said this is what it feels like for God to be in control, I felt that. I have not skydived, but the first time I went zip lining, it was in Honduras.
Yeah.
And it was the most frightening thing I'd ever done at that time. And I remember thinking, okay, let go, Charyse, God's got, like, literally just because they were like, I'm like all tense holding on to the thing. My eyes are closed. And I'm like, you're missing the adventure. You're missing the experience. And I was like, okay, just surrender. And I opened I let go of everything. I opened my eyes. I'm like, oh, the magnificence of everything. I don't know what it was like to jump out of an airplane. That's crazy, Gloria. But
that's so great for your audience to know that when you can surrender, and we've all surrendered at some point in our life, we just have to remember that we did it before and it turned out okay. And that goes back to trying different things you've never tried before. But surrendering is a big piece of it, surrendering.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. Where were you when you jumped out of this airplane?
Delaware. I was in Delaware.
Oh, it was here. Okay.
It was a huge, he used to do it all the time. And I was like, okay, I'll do it. And then when our daughter got to 18, she wanted to do it. So we took her up there to do it. So yeah, it's a thing.
Scary. Okay, last question. Okay. What is the best compliment you've ever gotten?
Wow, what a question. The best compliment I've ever gotten, I think, is when someone has told me that I really changed their life and I didn't know them. And it would happen a long time ago, like 20 years ago, Gloria. I heard you speak. And in your story and the way you delivered it really changed my life. I think that means so much to me because there was absolutely no connection. And it reminded me how many other people's lives I may have touched that I will never, ever know. And I think that's why I believe in my heart that women and people want to have an impact.
Yeah.
I believe the majority of the people in the world are good people, and they want to have a positive impact on their brothers and sisters. Yeah. And that there's some people that are not nice in the world, but we can't focus on them because we can't do anything about them. But in terms of the best compliment, I think that's probably it.
Yeah, that's so powerful, because we are often aware of the people that we do impact, but when it comes from someone that you don't even know, you don't know, they know you, but you don't know them, and you've impacted their lives in such a profound way. That's awesome. I love that. Thank you for sharing that.
That's great.
Thank you for sharing that. That's so awesome. Well, Gloria, this has been absolutely amazing. I so appreciate your time, your energy, your charisma, your strategy, all the things. Thank you for sharing space with me today.
It was so good. You are awesome at this interviewing thing. I've done a lot of these, and this is really, really good. It was a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
So glad. I'm so glad. And those of you that are listening or watching, as always, I love you. I appreciate you. And I will see you next time on another episode of the Charyse Williams Show.
Yep. Join me on my social media because I want to see him.
Oh, that's right. Gloria. Yes. Oh my gosh. I'm so glad. Where can they find you? We'll link stuff below, but where can people find you? If they're like, I like this woman. How can I need to be closer to her? And I would say, yes, you do. You absolutely do. So how do they find you, Gloria?
I really would love to, because I love new friends. I love them to find me on IG at Gloria Banks. I'd love for them to find me on Facebook at Gloria Mayfield Banks page. But if they just put in the Google, I will pop up, and I will absolutely love connecting with them.
Gloria's almost like, I'm not going to say almost like Oprah. Gloria is as Oprah. If you type in Gloria, by the time you get to Mayfield,
GloriaMayfieldBanks.com. That's where everything is. That's where everything is.
Absolutely. You don't have to finish spelling the whole name, but we're going to link everything down below in the show notes, so that way you guys can connect with Gloria. She's absolutely phenomenal, as you can see. And again, it's been a pleasure, and I will see you guys next time on the Charyse Williams Show. Bye for now.
Thank you.